You are Locked On Bruins Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello. Hello, UCLA fans, if any still exist, but mainly, I'm sure, a bunch of Tennessee victory lappers, rightfully so, by the way. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Locked On UCLA Postcast. Coming at you live directly after every single UCLA football game and after today's night as well, because there was not a UCLA football game tonight. There was not. The UCLA Bruins played New Mexico. New Mexico. And lost by 4 scores. 4 scores. This is the post-game show directly after every single UCLA football game right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. If you don't know who I am, my name is Gavin Carlson. No, I'm not just a loudmouth 23-year-old, although I really am that. I'm also a former credentialed journalist in the LA area covering this program. I spent 4 years going to UCLA. I spent 18 years before I went to UCLA being born and raised the son of a Bruin. My older sister went to this school. I love this school. I'm wearing a Russell Westbrook shirt right now. But I also covered this team for 4 years with the Daily Bruin. I've interviewed DeShaun Foster. I've interviewed Chip Kelly before that. And this program that I have been inside, covering in the locker rooms, in the press boxes, in the post-game press conferences. This program that I've grown up loving. Before I knew my ABCs, I knew that USC stood for University of Second Choice. I was told of the days of the years of Troy Aikman and Maurice Jones-Drew and DeShaun Foster as a player. But this program, you can make the argument it's never been lower than it is today on Friday, September 12th, 2025. And there's a few other times where you could say maybe that the program was lower than this. For all my Westwood people, I'm actually in Westwood right now, or basically I'm in Culver City right now, despite living in the Bay Area. Came down to Southern California this weekend for something completely unrelated. Never even thought about going to the Rose Bowl, by the way. Never even thought about it, despite being someone who loves the team as much as we all in here do, unless you're a Tennessee fan. And to those who are Tennessee fans, I got nothing to say, bro. Congratulations. You saved yourself. I still think there's some talent in Nico, but you saved yourself, all right? Shout out to all of you. I know some of you are upset with the shots at Knoxville. I do want to take that back. My apologies. One of my best friends from middle school and high school lived across the street from me. He is a Vol. He's in Knoxville right now. He's probably going to blow up my phone right now. No offense to y'all. I'm just salty. And I thought that last week was the saltiest and the lowest we would be. But I think if you called Tennessee fans before the season started, if you called USC fans, Cal fans, you know how salty they are about us, and asked them, what is the worst case scenario for UCLA this season? How bad do you want to see them suffer? They would say, get blown out by Utah, get blown out by Penn State, maybe even slip up against the Northwestern. Nobody, even the biggest USC fan, the biggest Tennessee fan, the biggest UCLA doubter within our own program, none of them would have said, lose to New Mexico by 25 points, guys. I legit think that there's probably an argument that when you compare expectations to what's been put on the field, this is the worst program in college football this year, maybe in all of college sports, bro. When you talk about the expectations, and this is a team that wasn't even ranked, so it's not like this is the number one team in the country losing a game that they shouldn't have lost. This is a team that wasn't even ranked. The expectations weren't that high. And yet I have never seen a team in any sport in college sports go this far below expectations. It is truly embarrassing. It's unimaginable. There's so many reasons why so many people should not be working for UCLA tomorrow. And I hate to say that. And I always come in here with sorries and the precursors or whatever the words are before I go in, right? The cushions, as they teach me in sales. The cushions. There's no cushions tonight, guys. DeShaun Foster, I'm going to, right when I say that, I'm going to cushion him. Great guy. UCLA legend on the field. He's got no idea what he's doing, guys. Just no idea what he's doing. Martin Jarmond, for the Tennessee people in here that are saying, who's the AD, that they don't know. It's Martin Jarmond, who, the same way, I, as a naive, optimistic, hopeful UCLA fan, saw Martin Jarmond arrive, and he immediately gets his Jordan brand. The jerseys look great. The gold on the helmet looks better than it did ever before, certainly with that trash company, Under Armour. And what did he do when he showed up? He watched Chip Kelly drive this program lower and lower every year and let them have what I said at the time when I covered this team for the Daily Bruin was arguably one of the most embarrassing losses in program history. When this team lost to Arizona State at home at the Rose Bowl. This team last year or 2 years ago got blown out by Cal at home. These are some awful losses. Some program defining awful losses. Martin Jarmond watched those happen and said, I'm not going to fire Chip Kelly. I don't know if he was going to before the reports came out before the USC game, and then he won the USC game. For those who remember that game against USC where somehow we beat the brakes off of Caleb Williams at the Coliseum. I'll never forget that game. Calling for his job. Reports coming out by Bruin Report Online before that USC game that Chip Kelly was gone. I'm in the press box, the press conference after the game. All the questions are about, did you save your job? And then the very next week, they lost. And surely, whether you were going to fire him and then he saved his job with the USC game, when he loses the very next week, he's got to be gone. And with the straight face, Martin Jarmond looked at UCLA fans and said, no, we're not going to get rid of Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly knew it was so bad that despite having no business having that job, he took a demotion. He took a demotion. He left this program. And yes, if Chip Kelly didn't leave at the time he did, there was other coaching candidates that were available that maybe Martin Jarmond would have taken advantage of and acquired and hired. But he's the reason we let Chip Kelly walk late instead of getting rid of him early. And then he hires DeShaun Foster. People like me who are naive UCLA fans that go, when you look at the credentials, there's really no reason he should be a head coach. He's never called a play in his life. He's never been even an assistant coach. He's been a running backs coach, and then he was kind of called an assistant coach, but you know what I mean? He wasn't a coordinator. This is strictly a vibes hire, a coordinator hire, or not a coordinator, a program building hire, a vibes energy hire. Last year, This team lost games they shouldn't have lost. The blowout loss to Indiana looked a little bit better when they went out and did what they did. Oh, they put up a good effort against LSU at times. They put up a good effort against Penn State at times. But there were signs right away. This guy doesn't know how to call a timeout when he's supposed to. He doesn't know how to manage the clock. He doesn't know how to go for it at certain positions rather than kicking a field goal. There were signs already, and we defended them. We said, hey, he's raw. He hasn't grown as a coach, which you're not supposed to say that about a head coach, by the way, but still, our naive selves, we defended it. I'm one of those people. I'm not going to act like I wasn't. We gave him a chance. But there's one thing that remained, even when we defended him, even when it was Justin Martin or Ethan Garbers and the offense couldn't run the ball to save its life despite him being a running back. The defense was awful, of course, as always. All the horrible late game decisions. We defended him. But the one thing that we all pointed out, and which has been so apparent these first 3 games and makes absolutely no sense, and which is why there is no debate that he must be fired. This is the energy coach. This is the DRE, all the acronyms. This is we're going to rebrand the program. We're going to run out to Dr. Dre. We're going to wear the baby blue suits while we walk into the Rose Bowl. We're going to wear the sunglasses. We're going to own the horrible press conference last year, this year. We're going to do all of the visual stuff. We're going to even have a good recruiting class because of all of it. And yet, despite being this energy guy, this vibes guy, we come out every game so flat. It's incredible. There was a tweet earlier from Ben Bolch who broke it down. Everyone's been guys, we were down like 20 plus points the first 2 games. We were down 14-0 to New Mexico. We lost 35-10, guys. But again, I tweeted it. We all probably agree. If this team was coming out against good programs, even these same programs that we should be beating, because I'm sorry, call me biased, call me a UCLA homer, but if you asked the general public 10 years ago, yeah, hey, UCLA is going to play Utah, UNLV, and New Mexico. There's no world on planet Earth where you don't say UCLA should be 3-0 every year. Now, in modern times, it's switched a bit. Utah's got one heck of a program. And so you would look at the schedule now and say, hey, based on all the advantages UCLA has with the Big Ten, with NIL, with being in LA, certainly with the recruiting hub that is LA, certainly they should be better than Utah as a program, but we'll say they're not. They should certainly still be 2-1, right? But even if you stoop so low and say this team is at the level of a UNLV or maybe even a New Mexico, man, you better come out with as much, if not more, energy and execution and success as the other team every time. And then if at halftime, some coach with more experience, with a better coaching staff, maybe even with a better roster, if they then make adjustments at halftime and then they blow you off the field in the second half because DeShaun Foster, he's just not an X and O guy. Tino Sanseri, he's a rookie OC. Akaika Malloy, he's only been a DC a couple years. If you just get out adjusted at halftime and then lose in the second half, then cool. I mean, not cool, but that's one thing. This team is down 2 scores every game. How do you come out with no level of attention to detail, of execution? There's no game plan. There's nothing when you come out onto the field. So what is the point of having the cool jerseys, of having the cool stadium, of changing the pregame rituals, of doing all of that if you don't even go up 3-0 in a football game? You're down 14-0 every week under DeShaun Foster. Whether you're playing LSU in Death Valley, whether you're playing Penn State with the whiteout, whether you're playing freaking New Mexico with 12 people in the stands that are all high schoolers who got the tickets for free. There was 10 people in the stadium tonight. They all got the ticket for free. And whether there's 10 people or a sold-out crowd in LSU or Penn State, UCLA starts down 10-0 every night under DeShaun Foster. And that's why I've had it. 0-3 would be enough to say you've had it. 35-10 against New Mexico would be a fireable offense in any school that has pride. But you can go a step further and say this team doesn't even show up. It's 14-0 against New Mexico. And then I don't know what's worse, that you fall behind 14-0, or that then when you obviously wake up and realize you are just a far more talented team and make it a close game, you then roll over in the second half after the adjustments, like I said, and get utterly outclassed and ran off the field at home. This happens way too much for DeShaun Foster to coach another game for this program. I'm sorry, man. And it sucks that we have to see a program legend go out this way. But if you lose this game 35-34, 99% of UCLA land is saying he's gone. You lost the game 35-10. You were arguably never in the game. The Lane Kiffin tarmac jokes, guess what? We deserve them more than anybody because this is unreal. So DeShaun Foster, I tried so hard to think of a scenario where he could keep you. I really did. I'm like, you know what? If it goes so poorly as it did that DeShaun realizes he's never going to have a future as a head coach, right? Like this, it has been so bad to start the season that he should realize he has no future as a head coach. And he should say, you know what? I'm going to go back to being an assistant coach and maybe a head recruiting guy for UCLA. Man, he loves this school. He loves this team. He loves this program. There's a scenario where you keep him around and you say, you're never making a decision on the field again, but we want you at practice and we want you recruiting. Cool. But that's if we lost 35-34 tonight. Like, this is so bad. I don't even think you can justify keeping the guy around the program, or at least do that thing where he leaves for 5 years, goes and, coaches D3, does well, and then gets promoted back to being a running backs coach for UCLA. But it's so bad that you might not be able to justify keeping him on your staff and taking a double demotion, a triple demotion. I'm sorry. I know I'm just ranting. I hope I'm putting together coherent sentences. I really hope I am. All the Tennessee people in here, I get it. You have the right to victory lap. I get it. I get it. I mean, it's college football. It's all fun. But there's not much to say. I mean, there's not much to say. We're going to take our break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the game a little bit. I guess. I mean, I'm trying to look at the comments. Of course, it's just being spanned by Go Vols. I get it. The standards of Tennessee football and UCLA football are night and day. We know that. So all I would recommend to you guys, Tennessee fans, is don't get so caught up in how bad we are that you forget that you guys should be a CFP team every year. You guys should be a top 8, top 10 team every year. You're a top 10 program in terms of the support you guys give for your team, in terms of the history, in terms of, I like your head coach. You're talented. You recruit well every year. So don't get too caught up in our situation and then forget that you guys got a huge game. I know you guys are well aware you have a huge game this weekend, but don't get too caught up in us. Go handle your business. Go handle your business. I'll be honest. I'm rooting for you guys this weekend. And at this point, I might buy me a Joey Aguilar Tennessee jersey and say, hey, at least he chose us before he went and won the Heisman with Tennessee. The same way, hey, Dylan Gabriel chose us before DTR came back, and then he went to Oklahoma and was amazing, and then went to Oregon and was amazing. That's what we're becoming at this point. We're becoming the team that guys choose, We get excited, they leave, and they go do better. I'm sorry. But yeah, I get it. Shout out to you, Tennessee people. It seems like the comments are a lot kinder at me today because I didn't rip on your city. Y'all just hate Nico. I get it. But at least you guys can victory lap, right? At least you guys can victory lap. You don't have to hate him and struggle as well. So hopefully you guys can get some wins. I don't know. But UCLA fans, don't get mad at UT fans spamming the stream. We know our entire team blows. No QB would make a difference. Yeah, I mean, I know I'm going to get clowned for this, but I'm still going to say that I think Nico's an above average quarterback. And I know, here we go. The Tennessee fans are going to lose it at me. But I still think Nico is an above average quarterback. There were some poor reads today. But that being said, this program, this team, there's no quarterback that could survive this. There isn't. And so we'll see. I think for the people that are in here for Nico, he certainly killed his career, at least in the immediate. He's probably going to have to stay in college for another year. He's going to transfer somewhere else. I'm sure his younger brother is going to follow him. And he's probably going to go somewhere and maybe cook. I could easily see him do what Dante Moore did. I already talked about it last week. I had a tweet blow up saying that we blew it for Dante Moore and blew it for our program. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the same thing for Nico. I wouldn't be surprised. But we're going to take our break. When we come back, I'm going to tell you some of the stats in this game. I'm going to tell you that 35-10 might be generous. Okay? So we're going to take our break, and I'm going to tell you why 35-10 might be generous right here on the program funeral edition. It can't get any worse than this. The fire an AD and head coach on the same Friday night edition of the Locked On UCLA postcast. I'll be right back. And then I have to somehow act like I'm all happy and jolly while I read these ads, which is always quite funny. But today's show is brought to you by Mazda. You can just move through life, or you can find the things that move you. It's your choice. You can choose to get out there, choose your people. You can choose to go for it. Like, really, go for it. Just choose to do something that moves you. Mazda crafts cars for those who choose to do more than simply move. Mazda, move and be moved. Today's show also brought to you by Wayfair. The weather's cooling down, the days are getting shorter, and that has me wanting to make my home feel even cozier. And when it comes to cozifying your space this fall, Wayfair is the place to go. It has everything you need to set the mood for the season, whether it's comfy recliners, warm bedding, autumn decor, or even an espresso machine so you can make your favorite latte at home. Cozify your space with Wayfair's curated collection of easy, affordable fall updates. From comfy recliners to cozy bedding and autumn decor, you'll find it all for way less at wayfair.com. That's Wayfair.com. Wayfair, every style, every home. And finally, today's show is brought to you by Square. Man, oh man, we love Square. It's your favorite neighborhood spots that run on Square. You know, I'm sure the Tennessee people in here are very familiar with all the small mom and pop, small businesses, right? We've got some of them out here. We do. It's a little bit harder out here in LA, but there are some. And back home where I am now in the Bay Area, where I'm not currently right now, I'm in LA tonight, but I live in the Bay Area now. And there are certainly businesses that truly make my neighborhood feel like home. There are some that make your neighborhood feel like home. Whether it's the local sports bar packed on game days, you know Rocco's is packed in Westwood, or was until we got blown out, or the coffee shop that knows your order by heart, or even the corner deli that's been serving your community for decades. These are places that bring people together. And when neighborhood businesses thrive, the whole neighborhood thrives. Square is a proud partner of more than 4 million neighborhood businesses around the world. You can go to square.com/lockedoncollege to learn more. But before you do, go support your favorite neighborhood spot. You'll be happy you did. Square, see you in the neighborhood. Back here live on a Hey Tennessee fans edition of the Locked On UCLA postcast. I'll be honest. I was watching this game tonight. And again, it's real sad that I'm not calling myself the biggest UCLA fan on planet Earth. I certainly am a diehard fan. I'm probably not the number one on planet Earth, but I'm pretty darn close, man. My aunt went to UCLA. My mom went to UCLA. My older sister went to UCLA. I went to UCLA. All the people in the living room outside where I'm at in LA right now, they all went to UCLA. I love this school. I love this team. This university, despite, I get it, despite all the jokes about the Rose Bowl being empty, despite all the jokes about how mediocre we've been in recent years, Tennessee fans in here, since I feel like I'm just talking to you, I got some Cal fans in here telling me that my whole family is miserable. All right, calm down, Cal. Let's not act like you guys are athletic excellence. But Tennessee fans, at least, you'll be honest with me, right? Even the people in the South that probably make fun of California schools, you would hopefully admit that with how famous the Rose Bowl is, with how nice most of the country thinks Los Angeles is, even though if you people in the South think Los Angeles is a horrible area, I promise you it's not. It's quite nice. The weather's beautiful. Okay. You see how pretty it all is. The school is one of the best academically. The campus is the best, right? You guys would hopefully admit that this team belongs in the top 25 every year. Program-wise, history-wise, this is not a school that should be 50th, 60th, 70th. And our standards used to be higher. They did. Chip Kelly had this team in the top 10 playing against Oregon, undefeated, a couple years ago, coming off a win at home against LSU, at home against Michael Penix-led. Let's go remind you guys. And I get it. There's going to be people in here saying, brother, we have had our share of media. Oh, well, that's a Tennessee fan. Never mind. See, that's the difference, though. Your guys is mediocre and ours, it's bad. We got disrespectful people in here saying that UCLA is not even in the top 50 all time in terms of programs. You know that's disrespectful. But let me remind you, for those who forget, a Chip Kelly-led team with DTR and Zach Charbonnet and Jake Bobo and Logan Loya and Greg Dulcich. That's a heck of a team, guys. And that's just the offense. We beat Jaden Daniels at LSU. Then we beat Michael Penix at Washington. I mean, these games were at home. Then we beat Cam Rising in Utah. This team was undefeated with a shot. I might even be mixing up years at this point, guys. But you know what I mean. We were undefeated playing Oregon. Undefeated. In the top 10. If we would have beaten Oregon, this is a team that could have made it to the CFP when it was 4 teams. And we are saying, fire Chip Kelly. Boy, what we would all do to have that back. Now this team can't even beat an average team. They can't even beat a below average team. They can't even beat New Mexico. This is one of the worst teams in college football, guys. In college football. And it's not where this program belongs. I'm trying to read all the comments, but I promise I'll talk about the show. This show's gone off the rails. Did you expect anything less, guys? We lost by 25 points to New Mexico. People in here saying don't disrespect the Lobos. Guys, it's not disrespectful for me to say that UCLA, that any Big Ten team, guys, should beat New Mexico. So this is not, this is not me trying to shoot at New Mexico. This is just even their coaches, their players, all of them, they would even admit we're an underdog in this game, right? I'm sorry. And for the people, I see some Tennessee people here that don't understand. They're saying we can't fill the Rose Bowl. That's the least of our issues right now. The Rose Bowl was not full when we were a top 10 team. The problem is this isn't even an average football team at this point. Who's the coach for the 2026 opener? Serious question. I have no idea. I know everyone's going to have all the trendy guys. Suddenly the USF coach people are talking about. I was in here last year. We were hoping it was Tony White. We were hoping it was, I don't know. In a miracle world, we get a guy like Caleb DeBoer, but that ain't happening. That's probably the only thing that could give me any hope at this stage is if Alabama really just crumbles and we get Kalen DeBoer. But above all else, at this point, I agree there. It has to start at the top. We have a new chancellor who has not picked an athletic director, and we have an athletic director who picked a head coach that is utterly failing. If this football team does not win 3 games this year, and the basketball team does not make it to the Sweet 16 with all the expectations they have, then there is no justification for a new chancellor to keep Martin Jarmond. Jarmond would be gone. Foster would be gone. It would be over. It would be over. And at this point, it's going to take years probably to have things come back. And that's why what's so frustrating this offseason. Everyone, and that's the last thing I'll say before I actually talk about the game and what is supposed to be a 20-minute show, and we're 31 minutes in. But everybody, all the national people, they all heard about Nico. And I get it. I get it. But outside of Nico, it was a great offseason for UCLA football, recruiting, a program that had been in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s every year with Chip Kelly, had a top 25 recruiting class out of nowhere. It wasn't just the transfer guys coming into this team, Javian Thomas or Jet Thomas, right? It wasn't just Titus coming back and, of course, Nico coming. It wasn't all the guys that were, solid as young players being elevated to be the starters on defense, a couple transfers on defense. It wasn't all that. It wasn't just all that. It was the recruiting class for next year. It felt like even if this team was maybe average, right? You win 6 games, you win 7 games. Certainly you would feel like we're on an upward trajectory to where we could win 8 or 9 next year. This program has to start over again. All those recruits, even if we didn't fire DeShaun Foster, they're going to decommit. So you might as well fire everybody and start from scratch. It starts with Jarmond. It starts with DeShaun Foster. Quickly, let's talk about this game because there is one point I have to make across. This team lost 35-10 to New Mexico, and you can truly make an argument that it was closer than it should have been. UCLA, 3 of 11 on third downs, right? That's awful. But New Mexico beat UCLA by 25, and they only went 4 of 10 on third down. New Mexico beat UCLA by 35, and they got stuffed on fourth down inside UCLA's 5. Oh, by the way, New Mexico beat UCLA by 25. They lost the turnover battle. They fumbled inside UCLA's 5. A couple drives after getting stopped on fourth down inside UCLA's 5. They fumbled a punt return and gave UCLA the ball at the 50. And I think we gained 8 yards and kicked a long 51-yard field goal. Like, this team was gifted possessions, gifted field position. New Mexico threw away 2 touchdowns and won the game by 25. It's truly unfair. 450 yards, guys. New Mexico, 450 yards. They ran for 298 yards. So how that a team that is more talented at home and with more to prove. This is not like a trap game where UCLA's 2-0 and they've got Oregon next week or something and they get caught and they lose by 7, like we did with DTR when we had a big win and then we got caught by Fresno State, right? This is not one of those games, guys. This is a 0-2 football team where the coach is arguably coaching for his job. The AD might be ADing for his job if that was a thing. And despite with having more to prove and more at risk, more to lose, being more talented, and being at home, and that's before the game starts. But then after the game starts, winning the turnover battle, barely losing the third down battle, but basically winning it because they had 2 failed fourth downs. Like there's like 6, 7, 8, 12, 400 reasons why UCLA should win this game. Like, think about it one more time. You're more talented. You have more to I don't want to keep out, but it's just I can't believe There's no way you could justify this team losing this game, period. And they lost it by 25, and they probably should have lost it by 42. By 42. So, yes. Shout out to everybody in here. I know it's a bunch of people clowning me, clowning UCLA. I get it. There's nothing you can say to the Tennessee people at this point. Take your victory lap. Rightfully so. But for my UCLA people in here, and also for the Tennessee people in here, because it's nice to have you're a little biased because you're rooting against us and you're clowning us, but, a somewhat unbiased team. Because outside of Nico, there's not much reason for Tennessee to care about us, right? So trying to be as unbiased as you can. UCLA fans, Tennessee fans, about everyone in here but USC and Cal fans that I've seen, you would all agree that there's never a scenario where UCLA should be this bad with everything that UCLA has to offer as a university, as an athletic program. We've got people in here saying that the money isn't there for football. Guys, son. I agree. The NIL support has not been there for a team that's trying to compete in the Big Ten. But we can't talk about money. We're playing New Mexico, guys. We're playing New Mexico. I know I got flamed for flaming Tennessee as a place last week. I'm going to get flamed probably for flaming New Mexico right now. 35 points for New Mexico. I don't know if they have 35 people in New Mexico. And we're talking about money. Like, come on. Yes, is UCLA underfunded to be a competitive team in the Big Ten? Yes. Is DeShaun Foster completely out of his ways as a head coach, completely way too inexperienced to be competitive in the Big Ten? Yes. But there's no excuse for this. There's probably some modern day St. John Bosco. I don't even know the high schools down here like that. I think they could have played a closer game against New Mexico tonight. I truly think they did. And yes, there's people saying, Gavin, there was people who were hitting me up on Twitter in the DMs, and rightfully so, saying, Gavin, weren't you okay with the DeShaun Foster hire? Weren't you hyped this offseason when he got Nico and all the recruits and the transfer and the recruiting class? Didn't you say that they were going to be 3-0, playing New Northwestern, trying to be 4-0? 4-0? When you host Penn State, well, guess what? We might be 0-4. Jen J saying Modern Day would have won by 2 touchdowns against New Mexico. They probably would have. Stevie says, relax, breathe. UCLA is the largest and wealthiest university in the land. You'll look back at these 5 years as a turning point, the beginning of a new era. What makes a program successful? It's the leadership, it's the reputation, and it's the time it takes to turn things around. Right now, we're hanging on to the reputation by a thread, because unless you were born in the 60s and the 70s, you've known UCLA for being a joke of a program more than you've known it for being a good one. Leadership has never been worse than it is right now. So we don't have even one ingredient other than the university, the location, the reputation of the school, of the basketball team, maybe. But in terms of this football program, it doesn't have the recent success, the program tradition. It doesn't even have the excitement. It's like the 28th most important thing in Los Angeles. So as much as I love to say, hey, we need this. We need the world to end before it improves. There's not even one thing we could grab on. With DeShaun Foster, as much as we knew he was going to be maybe not the best X's and O's coach, we could at least say, hey, he's going to recruit well. He's going to embrace UCLA. He's going to bring back the swaggy suits walking into the Rose Bowl. He's going to bring back the cool music, the walkout music. But that failed. And even that becomes less and less important with each year that progresses as us being a clown show. Because when it's, DeShaun Foster had a silly press conference talking about LA, or UCLA that's located in LA, but it's still a team that just joined the Big Ten, that's still viewed as an important program in multiple sports. Man, that's starting to fade away. That's starting to fade away. We are at this point closer to being Northwestern. Hey, this is a really good academic school that sucks at sports, but happens to sneak into the Big Ten. We're a lot closer to being Northwestern at this point than we are to being Michigan, right? Because you have the argument that UCLA should be a Michigan. Big brand, good school, public school, right? Big Ten. But we're closer to Northwestern at this point. And I'm afraid that if UCLA fully reaches Northwestern, they might be stuck with Northwestern and never. The people that go to UCLA, I was just there. I just graduated in 2024. The people that go there, unless they were born and raised UCLA fans, they don't know that UCLA used to be a historic program in football. They know, hey, I know that they were good at basketball, but we're all right now, whatever. Oh, they don't know. And so with each year that goes by, with this program being a clown show, the people that go to UCLA next fall, or in a couple weeks, they're going to show up, and unless they have people connected to UCLA, they're going to go, yeah, well, don't we have this football team that's 0-3, and we haven't done anything in basketball really that relevant in the last 20 years. We're not a sports school. We're an academic school that happens to be in LA, and there's fun things to do. So I truly am afraid. I truly am afraid. And there's too much fear-mongering going in the world right now and going on in this country right now. I really don't want to fear-monger out here. But guys, the future looks gross. We've got people in here, some new users saying, it sounds like you just graduated. Get to know our history. No, that's the point. I understand our history. My mom went to school. She was at parties in Westwood with Troy Aikman. I understand the history. I know who Gary Beeben is. I know we have a natty that we claim to in football, even though it's kind of fraudulent. I know these things. I'm just saying that if you don't have a connection to UCLA in the past, I was just at the school. I was in the student section club whose job was to make the shirts for the student section, to try to motivate people to come to games. And I'm telling you, from being there, nobody cares about UCLA sports unless they're playing USC or they're winning. And we're not winning. And the people there don't know how good we used to be. They don't. They just view football and basketball as this thing that happens at UCLA to have fun and maybe beat USC. And I'm in the student sections, right? We lose by 14, but all we can say is that the students start chanting safety school because that's all we've got. They start chanting go back to the middle of nowhere because that's all we've got at this point. I'm just telling you, as I'm not uneducated on UCLA's history. I know how legendary this place is. I'm repping the Russell Westbrook retro shirt for a reason. But man, I'm telling you right now, 85% of the people that go to this school don't know it. And with each year that goes by with this team being a joke, the Rose Bowl is going to go from, hey, there's 60,000 fans to, hey, there's 40,000 fans, but the tarps are up, so it looks full to, hey, there's tarps up on one side of the end zone and it's still looking empty. We need tarps on both sides. Hey, pretty soon you're going to have to tarp the entire stadium outside than the first 10 rows, and those are only going to be filled with the high schoolers who got in for free. I'm just telling you. So, with all that being said, I don't want you Tennessee fans, I don't want you UCLA fans to think I'm being pessimistic because I don't know the past. I know this team has had success in the past, and I also don't want the Tennessee people in here to act like this program, this school, this university is the laughingstock that it feels like right now. It's somewhere in between the two, right? We are not the Troy Aikman UCLA, but we are not actually an FCS team. We've got the freaking Big Sky Conference clowning us right now on Twitter. We're somewhere in between there. But I'm really starting to feel like we are close to becoming a Northwestern, guys. No diss on them, by the way, but I think they would agree they're an academic school that just happened to sneak into the Big Ten at this point. We're closer to becoming that. So with all that being said, this 20-minute post-game show that's 45 minutes tonight is going to wrap up. Shout out to everybody in here. Leave a like, all that good stuff. We've got Georgia fans in here. We've got Tennessee fans in here. Feels like we've got all of college football laughing at UCLA right now. Hit the like button. We've got Zach advocating so hard. Appreciate you, Zach. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. I will be back here. And as much as I hate to say it, I am so glad, so glad that we don't play football next week because we don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. Have a great rest of your Friday night. Heck of a college football slate tomorrow. Good luck, Tennessee people, saying, way to put up with this, Gavin. It's all good. It's all good. Sean LeBomb saying, how do we fix UCLA athletics? You fire Martin Jarmond. You fire DeShaun Foster, as much as I hate to say that one. And you go from there. Take care. Have a great weekend. And as tough as it is to say, I still love this darn school so much. Go Bruins. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's just many, many years away.